Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long. Pop the clutch. I don't pump the...
Hey everyone, welcome to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast. I'm Matthew Briggs. I usually have my co-host with me, Crenshaw, but today he had a work emergency, so he will not be here. But today I have a special guest from the Broad Street South, Mr. Mike Fuji, hosting of the Eagles. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Matt. Thanks for having me on. November 3rd, let's get this talk rock and go.
You know, I'm actually going to be there. I live in Kansas City at the moment, so I'm actually going to be there for that game. So I'm very excited, that Thursday night matchup. But before we jump in to why you're here, let's talk about NFL news. Nothing really major happening except for it seems like we've been talking every time we have this Texans podcast. We mention this man's name. We're hoping when he's gone, he will be deleted from our memory, and still we talk about him. Mr. Deshaun Watson. It sounds like his hearing case has finally ended with the judge. From what you can't tell what it's true or not, but what they're saying is the NFL did not make a good case for itself. A lot of he said, she said, and the judge does not look like the outcome of this. So people are predicting a 6 to 8 suspension. Mike, do you feel that is appropriate? Should it be more? Should it be less? What's your call on it?
Well, I know before all this took place, it was a civil case. And now all of a sudden you got, 25 women coming out with cases. And, I heard something about Roger Goodell not really being involved in the decision. Know what I'm getting an echo on my end. Can you?
Now you sound good to me on mine.
It's got to be mine. I got a nugget. Let me check my settings here. I don't know what it could be, but I'm just echoing on my ends. I'm sure you guys down there in Houston, this is a nightmare for all of you going back to last season.
Yeah, it's been a complete nightmare.
I mean, going forward, where do you see the Texans at now with all the draft capital you got back for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, we are very excited for the draft capital. We're kind of hoping the suspension would be longer. That way, the draft capital would be higher. But 6 to 8 games, I guess we gotta take it. Ain't nothing we can do about it. But just as a perspective, as a father, if it's true or not. 66 cases, 66 women, 26 civil suits. It's despicable as a man to do that kind of stuff to women. I just think he should be held to a higher standard, and I think suspension should be higher. But that's just the father in me, and the true football fan. But my opinion doesn't matter. What's your take? What's your opinion? Should it be longer, or does a 6-8 day game work for you?
Well, 6 to 8 games, it seems like he's getting all pretty easy. You think a full season, possibly with all the allegations. But hey, there's 3 sides to a story. His
Right.
side, the lady's side, and the truth.
Right.
So
I've always been a firm believer. If this did happen, then yes, he should be. What the full max of the law can punish him, he deserves it. But also, on the other hand, if my daughter has made a claim like this and it turned out to be false, then I firmly believe that she should, face a punishment as well. Because this, if this is not true, this did hurt him a lot.
no, of course. Especially his career going down the road. Is everybody, are other allegations going to come out on him 2, 5, 10 years down the road?
Right. Is hopefully it ends soon. That way, like I said, we just quit talking about it because I'm I'm over it.
Oh,
but,
I'm sure it was a nightmare going throughout all that last season.
Man, and what a lot of people don't understand about the Texans, like last year, it was just like this dark cloud,
Right?
And it was just complete misery. We knew we were going to face a rough season. This year is like a complete different feeling. Like there's optimistic views. There's actually a future that we can see. And now when we have people saying that we're the ranked 32nd team in the NFL, like what? What are you watching? But speaking of ranked 32, the Eagles versus, like you said earlier, November 3rd in NRG. Last year, y'all were talking about getting Deshaun Watson, but y'all were smart. Y'all stayed away. Y'all stuck with Devontae Smith. Or not, I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And then this offseason, you added a weapon next to Devontae, and I think that was a steal. You got A.J. Brown from the Titans for a first-round draft pick. And then, go ahead.
I was going to say, actually, a first and a third-round pick. How we stole him from Tennessee.
I'm sorry, broke it up. Was that first round and a what?
I said a first and a third-round pick from Tennessee.
That's right. I thought there was more to it, but a little fuzzy. And you also picked up Zach Pascal, Hassan Reddick. A couple good pieces. You lost. Brandon Brooks he was a former Texan. He was a bulldozer. Didn't want him to leave, so that's got hurt with you guys. Mike, tell me, what is your optimistic view of this season, and what do you think the Eagles' record is going to be?
Well, I was on the show last week, and I think 10 or 11 wins. Optimistically, I think the Eagles are going to compete with Dallas for the division. Actually, I think they can overcome the NFC East. And, just as you said, Hassan Reddick, A.J. Brown, Kaiser White, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean drafted.
Jordan Davis I thought was a real good pickup for you guys. Y'all got some real good draft picks as well. And of course using A.J. Brown as one.
Well, I think they just need to, they picked up James Bradbury right from the Giants to play opposite Darius Slay. The Eagles are going from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4. So Jonathan Gannon has, a lot of weapons to play with. He can blitz the house. The Eagles last year were third in the least amount of sacks. So sky's the limit for this team. offense and defense.
Most definitely. So, what do you think your record will be at the end of the season?
I say 10 or 11 wins. I mean, they got the
Okay.
third easiest schedule in the NFL. So, like I said, the sky's the limit with Jalen Hurts. He's got the weapons. There ain't no excuse. I mean, the season's on his shoulders.
And the NFC East is kind of comparable to the AFC South. You got one or two teams that could battle for the top of the division, and then you got two teams that are just complete trash. So I mean that does help your help your Eagles, especially since they made the playoffs last year.
Well, it's AFC South, as you said. You got the Bills being the number one there. I mean, you don't know what New England and Miami and the Jets. I think the Jets had a draft. But
I'll talk about the AFC South, the Texans, the Colts. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, they're kind of the same way too, because the Jets are like the Jags. The Dolphins like the Texans. You don't know what you got in them, and then of course you got the two front runners. So I mean, that's comparable.
Well, the Colts and the Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why the Titans gave up A.J. Brown, but I mean that's more pressure on Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill.
I don't understand it why either. I mean you have to pay the man. He was on pace to be the best receiver in your in your franchise history. He's still young, almost there, but you just gave up on him, which is kind of harsh. But
yeah. I have an echo in my background that
I hear it now.
on me.
I didn't hear it when you had your headphones in.
Yeah, I just hear myself repeating, and I'm like, it's just like riding me nuts.
I think I might know why. Let me
give me one. Oh God, this is embarrassing.
There it goes. It's off on my end.
Does that sound better?
Sounds great, sir.
Yeah. Still hearing my.
It's coming clear on my end. You good to keep going, or?
Yeah.
All right. But talking about the AFC South, what is your prediction of the November 3rd games? That's why we're here. Take me to what you think the recap will be of November 3rd.
Well, I know the Eagles are coming off a short week against Pittsburgh, right around Halloween. So, that's always a tough game. You're going down Houston, which I'll be at the game. Hopefully we'll meet up.
Yes, sir.
Actually, with Broad Street South, we have a partnership with Big Sarge, who pairs up with ND Kalu on that.
All right.
So we're coming down there with Philly sports trips, and supposed to meet up with ND Kalu.
Cool. Awesome.
On Salzburg.
All right. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to meet up.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I mean, never been to Houston, so actually my first time in Texas. Looking forward to it.
Great city, great people. It's great atmosphere. I think you'll enjoy it.
I mean, I've been down the South, but always loving that Southern hospitality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, what do you think the score is going to be, and what do you think the Eagles' biggest flaws and the biggest drawing blank? What do you think their biggest bright sides of that game is going to be?
Well, it definitely got to get to the quarterback. I mean, that's the number one thing on defense. I mean, there's no excuse with Darius Slay, James Bradbury on the other side, and running the football. I still think the Eagles need another running back. to compliment Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, a veteran running back like a Jordan Howard or somebody else who gets caught at their training camp. If they can go out and grab them, it would be great.
Okay, and so what's the biggest bright side you think? What do you think is going to help the Eagles on at the game?
I believe after week 8 last year, the Eagles had, the number 1 running attack in football. I mean, there's, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Zach Pascal, these guys just getting out there, letting Jalen Hurts throw the ball, just mixing up the run and the pass. Let's not forget Dallas Goedert, probably one of the top 10 tight ends in football right now.
Yeah, man. All right. So, what do you think the score is going to be? What's your prediction? If I'm a betting man, who am I supposed to be taking?
I mean, I guess I would take the Eagles laying the points.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, Eagles are coming off a short week against Pittsburgh, and I believe they got Washington on Monday night the week after. So hopefully that won't be like a trap game for them.
Right.
Certain teams always look for those division rivals, especially like those Dallas Cowboys when we go up against them.
Right. So, Davis Mills is the Texans quarterback. Last 8 games, he kind of showed the reason why he should be the Houston Texans starter, especially with Pep Hamilton calling the plays. He looked a lot better throwing the ball. Easily the second best rookie quarterback out of that draft. You can argue if he was in the same place as Mac Jones and had the weapons, he could be the first. Does Davis Mills scare you this game?
I mean, in the NFL, you can't really take anybody for granted. It's any given Sunday, any given Thursday, any given Monday night. I mean, if you take a team lightly, you always look at the schedule. I know in Philly, everybody always looks, oh, yeah, the Eagles are going to go 12-5, 10-7. There's always that clunker on the schedule where they're supposed to win and they end up losing. And it's opposite against the good team. It's just so hard. Teams got to stay healthy. You lose one guy, you're one play away from being done for the year.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the premature thing about picking the overall record for the season. Everybody dissects it, and
yeah,
you know how it is.
Yes, sir. Well, the Texans have the worst winning percentage against the Eagles. I think we only won 1 game against you guys. Tough. But on the other hand, veteran head coach Lovie Smith has not lost a game against you guys. So, you know how he is with the defense. He can turn the defense around. We added Derek Stingley, John Pichier from Baylor. We added a lot of rookies. Harris from Alabama, Booker from Stanford. Does this defense, will it surprise you, or do you think it's going to be kind of a dud like it was last year?
The Eagles got one of the best offensive lines in football, and it's all going to be according to the running game and Jalen Hurts, getting the Eagles off to a fast start. I mean, like I said, there ain't no excuse the Eagles should win this game. But like I said, you're coming off the Pittsburgh game the Sunday before, looking ahead to Washington the week after, 10 days later on Monday night. So, you gotta play 60 minutes of smart football. You can't take no team lightly. You look at bad teams in the NFC East, whether how good a team could be or how bad. Every team always shows up, and it's always a rivalry, no matter what division. I mean, at least in the NFC East, if Washington's bad, the Giants, they always give the Eagles a hard time, and vice versa.
Right.
There's just that that division rival that's always been, you look at the NFC East, it just goes back for years on end.
Yeah, that's what us and the Titans. Nobody expected us to beat the Titans last year.
Right.
We always play them close, no matter how bad that team is. So yeah, I totally get you on that part. But Mike, what is your score predictions of the game? Is it close? Is it a blowout?
Let's see. I know I'm going to go Birds 30, Texans 13, but that could change.
Okay.
That could change come as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. I actually picked before when the schedule came out. I actually picked the Texans to upset the Eagles this year, but I got it close game. I got 24-21 Texans field goal.
Hey, I'm not. Like I said, any given Sunday.
Hey,
anybody can beat anybody.
Like I said, I'm going to be at the game. Why not predict a barn burner? I don't want a blowout. I want it to be a good game. Keep me at the edge of my seat. Stay there the whole game. Enjoy it.
Right.
We always have a segment on the show. What do you think is going to be one of the craziest things that the Eagles is going to do this year? What is your craziest prediction?
Well, it's all going to come down on Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. I mean, Nick Sirianni got away from passing the ball week 8. As I said, the Eagles had the number one rushing attack, going down the stretch. Really, if you look at it last year, too, the Eagles didn't really beat a team that was over 500. I hate to say, but that's the truth. And, there's a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts. He's in the last year of his contract. Now the rumors are swirling. The Eagles are looking to give him $35 to $40 million a year.
Oh, wow.
And I think the sky's the limit. He's a natural-born leader. He says all the right things. And
so here's I'm glad you brought that up. So here's my question to you: are you sold on Jalen Hurts?
I'm sold on Jalen Hurts. I love the guy, but the only thing I question is his arm strength. But if you really look at the way he bulked up in the offseason, he looks like he's jacked and ready to rock now. If week 1 were to start tomorrow, we'd be ready to get that week 1 ready to rock going out to Detroit September 11th, or whether it's here in Lincoln Financial Field, the place will be rocking. Now I'm getting all hyped.
Yeah.
I'm already hyped for the season. Let's just get it the hell on. But you don't want it to come that fast because then it'll be over.
That's why I've been telling my fiance, I said, oh, babe, 4 more months. He's like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I was like, I can't wait. Can't wait to see a real game in real life. I'm tired of this. Tired of it. I hate the off season. Most boring time in sports. It gets boring.
Well, 28 days of training camp, and then we'll be kicking it off and rocking, and let's get the party started.
Yes, sir. So, I'm glad you brought up training camp. What are you most excited to see at training camp? What are you ready to see?
I'm just ready to see this defense knock some heads off. Nakobe Dean, 3rd-round pick, with a steal by Howie Roseman.
Man. Yeah.
Jordan Davis, hopefully he'll be just stuffing that run next to Fletcher Cox. The grave digger, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham coming back. Josh Sweat having a solid year last year. Just get this defense going. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, get that running game going. Lane Johnson and Kelsey up front, knocking heads against the defensive line. Let's just get the ball bouncing, moving, rolling. Let's just be the steamroller and take the NFC East.
I'm loving the energy, loving it. Yeah, man, Nakobe Dean was a great steal for you guys. I was hoping to grab him, but we got, like I said, I thought we got a steal in John Pichu out of Baylor, and then we need a good slot receiver. Mechie, one healthy, he's great. That's the only bad thing is one healthy. I was hoping he'd fall down in the third round, man, but
Right.
you guys came in.
Well, Stingley was a great pick. I mean, I've been wishing Howie Roseman would take a D-back, a cornerstone for years to come.
Yeah.
It just seems like you got to rely on the trades or free agency to go out. But he's going all in on everybody. Kind of reminds me of 2017 when we had Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, LeGarrette Blount picked up in free agency, traded for Jay Ajayi. Brought in Chris Long. I mean, he just added these pieces and everything clicked.
Yeah, and y'all won a Super Bowl. I mean,
right?
Nothing better than that, right?
Exactly.
And plus, I mean, you did, but didn't have a first round draft pick. You got a Pro Bowler, AJ Brown, as a first round draft pick. So I mean, you can't complain on that one. I mean, I thought that was. I was like, man, what are the Titans doing?
Well, that was Howie actually went up two spots and traded, I believe, flip-flop first-round picks, gave up a third and 2 fifths to get Jordan Davis. And then they had the second draft pick, I think, which was 18th, and then that they got from New Orleans. Right. And then he just traded the first and the other third up to get A.J. Brown, signed him to $100 million 4-year contract. And hey, these guys, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, are like this. So
yeah, I mean that
mix Devontae Smith in there. What a hell of a mix.
Yeah, that chemistry's already there. So I mean, there you go. Right. I mean, yeah, Devontae Smith. I have a dynasty league, fantasy football, and I picked him up in the later rounds, and he's got me some good points. He's a good young receiver. Learning next to AJ Brown, you can't go wrong,
All right. I mean, last year, they drafted Jalen Reagor 2 years ago, but we won't get into that situation. Hey, I think Zach Pascal was a hell of a pickup. I mean, he's not really getting much. Nobody's really talking about him, but he could be a hell of a slot receiver for Jalen Hurts.
I got a lot of Colts fans, and. They liked him, but the health, that just you can't stay healthy. And if you're not on the field, you just you can't produce. You know how it goes.
There's also another guy the Eagles will probably plug in at the slot position, which is Quez Watkins, who's a burner. I mean, the guy could take off, but last year they really didn't throw the ball downfield, and that's the only question about Jalen Hurts. Scares everybody.
Yeah. See, that's the opposite of Davis Mills. He is 69% complete when he throws more than 40 yards. So I'm excited. Got John Mechie, Brandon Cooks. I think he's the most underrated receiver in the NFL. A lot of people don't believe that, but had 1,000 yards with rookie quarterback and Tyrod Taylor, who was, Tyrod Taylor. So you gotta give him props, right? You gotta give him props where props is due. I think he's a great receiver, especially for Mills.
No, absolutely. I mean, Brandon Cooks. I mean, he's been around, but the guy's, he can put up the numbers. It's probably more one of the underrated receivers in the NFL.
Right. And then you got Brevin Jordan, who I think he's going to have a good year.
Tight end, correct?
Yeah, he's officially the number 1 tight end on the team roster. Lost some weight, so he's always been a good receiving tight end. So hopefully this is the year that he proves everybody wrong. And you got Nico Collins out of Michigan, which I hope he has a good year. I'm just
sure take Marlon Mack at running back.
I think it was a great pickup. I really do. He had some health problems, but he had a whole year. The Colts didn't use him. So got a whole year to rehab, but plus stay on the field. So I think it's good. And then we drafted Dameon Pierce out of Florida, 4th round pick. Not a lot of tread on tire. He don't have a lot of carries, but like I said, when he had carries, he had positive yards, and he good catching in the backfield. Somebody I saw said his hands remind him of Marshall Faulk's.
Wow.
So if he has any kind of career like Marshall Faulk,
Right.
I'm okay with it. You know.
That's,
So I it's a lot better than Rex Burkhead. That's all I gotta say.
right.
I'm just excited to actually have a running game. So let's see what it does. We got a comment that said Pierce would be really good for us. Yeah, I have to agree. I think I'm kind of surprised the Eagles didn't go running back in the draft later rounds.
I know they've had a couple guys that they picked up that were undrafted, but they really didn't reach out for any running backs. Like, just to compliment what you say, they didn't go after anybody, which they should have, because Miles Sanders missed 12 games in the last 2 years. He's in the last year of a contract, so there's a lot of big question marks right there. Yeah. Consistency, staying healthy. That's why I think they ought to go out and get a free agent back. Or, hey, I mean, the rumor was a couple weeks ago they were going to trade for Kareem Hunt. Andre Dillard, is a backup left tackle to Jordan Mailata, ex-first round pick. I believe he's in the last year of his contract, making about $10 million. So it kind of would make sense that the Browns were deciding to move him. I think Kareem Hunt will be a hell of an addition to this Eagles backfield.
Yeah. Well, Mike, tell us a little bit about your podcast and where we can find it and what things y'all have coming up.
Broad Street South, you can reach us right here under as my name, broadstreetsouth.com. We are on Tuesdays, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central. We have a couple big things coming up, in the off season, right before the season kicks off. We'll have yourself come on like a Thursday night, actually the Tuesday before, because we play you guys that Thursday. We usually have the guest on the Thursday nights from other teams come on just to break down the game. We do a Sunday pregame show, but when I'm actually down there in Houston, I'll be doing my pregame show at our tailgate. So you're more than welcome to join us. That Tuesday night and that Thursday. So, we got some big things coming up. We're on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Apple. Check us out at broadstreet.com. We're close to about 150 episodes in. We've been on for 2 years. We've had the likes of Sean Salisbury, Big Sarge, ND Kalu from Houston 790. Mm-hmm. We've got other big names like Seth Joyner, a couple ex-Phillies, Barrett Brooks from the Eagles. So, we're trying to just grow and hopefully, get paid for this one day. If not, it's been a dream. It's just fun meeting people like yourself. We've met people, pretty big in the industry and the local Philly media. So hopefully, the sky's the limit and we'll, be sitting up there with the big dogs on the local radio station, ESPN, whatever. Because, seems like podcasting with sports is the way to go now.
Yeah. It cuts out the drama and just gets what everybody wants to talk about, the teams and, the facts and everything. Well, yeah, man, I can't wait to meet you down there.
Exactly.
Definitely going to have to meet up. I'm excited for your episode. Your social media is at Broad Street South 1 and at Fuji Mike, correct? On Twitter and all that?
Yeah, Mike Fuji.
Okay.
And
all right.
Angel is at Broad Street South.
Okay.
On Twitter. And you can check out the website, broadstreetsouth.com. BORADST South.com.
Yeah, right. Here's,
check us out. And,
here's the website.
Chime in and let us know who you are. We're actually in 13 countries, 31 states.
Awesome. Getting that big time. Good. Yeah, guys. So next week we're gonna have a 2-episoder. We have a podcaster from the Raiders be on to talk to Raiders matchup with us, and then we have Mr. Lightning from Thunder Lightning of the Jacksonville Jaguars himself, Jimmy Smith, coming on to talk to Jaguars on the 6th. Yeah, we're pumped about that one.
Right, ex-Eagle.
Yeah, he was.
He was Cup by the Eagles, Cup by the Cowboys. I believe there was a couple other teams mixed in there.
Yep, and the Jaguars hit, and he just took off. So
Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, Mark Brunell, Fred Taylor.
Yeah, that was
Tony Baselli.
Mm-hmm. That was a mean 1-2
Tony
punch right
Brackens on defense.
Gary Walker, yeah, it was back in the day, man. That was a tough defense,
Trying to think of the safety, Darius.
Can't
think of his last name. He was a hitter though.
And you had Hardy Nickerson. You had some good players back then.
Yeah, that's a team that should have went to a Super Bowl.
Yep,
they made it to the AFC championship.
Ran into the Titans and just couldn't beat them. That year they lost 3 games, and all 3 games were to the Titans.
That's right, because they came in the league the same year as the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers, yes, sir.
And the Panthers lost to the Packers in the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
Terry Collins, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, they got Jake home, went to the Super Bowl.
Steve Smith.
Yeah, yes, sir. But of course, like most teams, ran into a juggernaut called Mr. Tom Brady, and just couldn't. Except for you guys, you and Eli Lane, the only ones who know how to beat them in the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you that the end of that Super Bowl 52 was a nail biter, because when Brady threw that Hail Mary, it seemed like there was like a minute delay, and everybody's looking around like I was waiting for a flag with Gronk or something, just to put time back on the clock, because that's just always been the luck of Philly. And lo and behold, we're Super Bowl champions finally.
I tell you, I tell my buddies all the time, there's 3 things you can count on in life. That's death, taxes, and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Guy's money.
Dude, I'm
love
telling
him or hate him.
Yeah.
You got to give it to him.
Yeah. Well, Mike, man, it was a great pleasure having you on. I can't wait to come on your show. We're going to have you back on, especially with my co-host. It's been a blast, man. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Matt. I appreciate it. Look forward. Love to come back on, before the season, during the season, whenever. Yes. We're going to have you on Broad Street South, too.
Yes, sir. Guys, so make sure you check him out at broadstreetsouth.com. Here's the website. You can find his social media. Chris is on Twitter down below. You follow me at A1 Day 1 Texans on Twitter and Instagram. Crenshaw's not here, but you can find Crenshaw at Pittsburgh Crenshaw and Texas Fan Battle, just like it is. And you can find the podcast on every major platform. You say, "Hey Alexa, play Texas Fan Battle," and you'll get it. Guys, we'll see y'all next week again. We're gonna have some great shows, so make sure you tune in. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.